Welcome to the Beyond Jiu Jitsu podcast, episode number 32. What's going on, Adam?
What's up, bro? I'm good, man. Back to training here in Sydney, feeling ripe. No, I'm not. Feel real sore.
Yeah.
Getting an MRI on the weekend.
Yeah.
Already broken.
What's going on?
My elbow's all like clickety clack. It's not good.
Clickety clack, it's fucked.
Yeah. But that's okay. Comes with the territory. How are you, my man?
Yeah, not too bad, man. I'm feeling pretty sore as well, like muscle, just like DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness.
Who's Dom?
A mate of mine. It's good. It's a good cat. Yeah, a Dom. Feeling a bit tight, feeling a bit sore, but all in all, considering, the amount of training I'm doing and the intensity I'm doing, I'm feeling good when considering that. So I'm recovering fairly well.
You training later today then?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, you know it.
100%. You know I am.
I'll be there, bro.
Yeah, well, you better. Yeah. But recovery, right? So today we're talking a bit about recovery, some recovery modalities for jiu-jitsu, and specifically the idea or the general vibe of this episode when we originally came up with it was to talk about cold water immersion and effectively cold showers. And
cold showers? Oh,
yeah.
I've prepared for something completely different.
I've prepared for hot showers.
Okay, hot showers then. All right, let's go with that. It's better than what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, cold.
Super confused.
How did you not get that like the joke I was trying to make? How didn't you make the connection from like what other type of shower do people take?
People are going to be so. I'm not the only one that doesn't get that, but I get it now. Yeah.
I mean, I've never had it. Yeah, I've never had one, but I feel like that's a pretty well-known phrase, golden showers. Anyway, that's a month of those was weird. But no.
So basically, in preparation for this episode, Adam and I agreed to do a month straight of cold showers. So
together. Yes,
in the same shower. And it was only cold for a very short time, and then it got very hot in there.
Well, yeah, so how we came onto this was actually I had already started it, having cold showers before I put it forward to you. It was just one day I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, and I'm not at all it's not like I'm not a Wim Hof fan. Like, he's a cool guy, but I'm not like a Wim Hof person, right? Like, some people are super into him, but yeah, I know who he is. If you don't know who Wim Hof is, he's the guy who's really well known for not only cold showers, but just cold everything. The dude runs marathons in the snow with no shoes and all this weird sort of stuff. But his whole method, there's heaps of breathing and meditation stuff and all this stuff to do with it. So I went down the YouTube rabbit hole, and there was a couple of videos that kind of pushed me more to giving it a go. One was a video by a guy called Johnny Harris, who has a really cool YouTube channel. He used to make videos for Vox. Do you know the YouTube channel Vox?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he did one talking about took a trip. Where was he? I think he was in Greenland or something. One of those countries where they have like super heaps of like glacier water, but also hot springs, right? And so the video he made was talking about like, why do these countries, sit in glacier water and then jump in a hot spring, blah, 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 blah. And it was talking about a workout essentially for your arteries and your veins and your capillaries and everything, because as most people know, when you're cold, right, the reason you get frostbite and all that in your fingers and toes is because your body pumps all the blood out of your extremities into your core, right, to keep all your vital organs warm. And it does the opposite when you're overheating. It pushes all the blood out to your extremities to try and cool down your vital organs, right? And he talked about this going into cold water and hot water. It's essentially like doing, for lack of a better term, reps, right? Because it's your arteries and everything are contracting and in ways that they don't typically do in day-to-day life. And then that led me to another YouTube channel, which I can't remember the guy's name, but it's more a comedic channel. And he does stuff like, 1 month of fasting, or for 1 month, my wife and I, woke up every day at 4 a.m. or, just random, not random, but sort of things.
Challenges, right?
Challenges,
Yeah.
if you will. And one he did was cold showers for a month. And, and I just thought, hey man, like, why not try it? There's not a huge amount of scientific evidence behind it. There is some, right? But in terms of it, from a scientific point of view, the data is very minimal, right? Compared to the usual amount of research that's done to come to a conclusion about anything medical. But, like Wim Hof talks a lot about what it does for your central nervous system, or, what it does for your skin as a whole. Your skin, I believe, is considered an organ, right?
Yeah,
Do you know? It's like the biggest organ.
Yeah,
right?
Largest organ in your body. That's a very common trivia question.
Is that? Well, there you go for those trivia heads out there. Right. And so it talks about that it's never really exposed to the elements, with modern society and heating and clothing and all that. So cold showers are a way to do that. So I just thought, why not do it for a month? And I'd been doing it already for a few days before I kind of said to you, hey man, like, I think I led with, you into Wim Hof, and what do you think about cold showers?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to join me on this or not, but I'm going to do them for a month. And then I thought we could do an episode about it. And then you were just like, oh yeah, bro, I'm into those. I used to do them all the time. And I was like, oh, so, and then that turned into, okay, well, I can be the more or less the less knowledgeable person because I've only done it for a month. This is something you've done on and off for years.
Yeah. So I got into this as a part of recovery, a bit of biohacking. I was really into biohacking. Probably.
Can you, just for listeners, like, what do you mean biohacking?
So biohacking is a relatively new movement. And when I was into it, it was really niche and real, like, unknown, if you will. It wasn't mainstream. Nowadays, it's a very mainstream term. Biohacking is, in a nutshell, utilizing modern science to improve your health, as well as some ancient wisdom. So a very popular guy that was in the biohacking movement, his name is Ben Greenfield, and his whole tagline is combining modern science and ancient wisdom to improve your life, right?
So any of them, like when I think biohacking, I think those clickbait YouTube videos of life hacks, and it's just like, put toothpaste on the brush. And you're like, wow.
I've been sticking it up my butt for years.
And are there any sort of like biohacks that have been proven, or are they all still relatively?
So a lot of them have, depends on who you're talking to, where you're getting your information from.
Define proven.
Yeah, define proven. A lot of these, biohacks have a lot of strong evidence and are more or less proven. And some of them are complete fucking woo. Like so woo-woo.
Like almost old wives' tales.
Oh, mate, almost like just fucking people shilling their, like, for example, I don't want to go out and say it's not, it doesn't work, but there's these devices now that are being sold under the guise of biohacking, where you put like a glass mason jar of water on like this device, and it's meant to encode it, infuse it with like these rays.
I already hate it.
Exactly, with these rays of like caffeine or like these other
That's so
things,
dumb.
and then you drink the water and it's like coffee, but without the coffee. It's ridiculous, right?
Oh my God, that makes me so angry. It's like,
it's complete bullshit, man. It's like complete BS.
It's like people with crystals.
Yeah, exactly. It's straight up like crystal stuff.
Although I did hear one that was quite funny that said like, crystals really do have healing powers if you have a salt deficiency. I was like, yep.
Yep, 100%, right? So it's pretty much exactly like that. And these devices, back to the example, it's, they sell for like $500 to $1,000 US. So they're just, capitalizing on this BS market, right? That it's just marketing. But back to the point. Back when I was really into it, probably around when I started getting into it, probably around 2015 or so. So a little while ago now, probably like 6 years. And the particular guy that I, was influenced by, his name is Ben Greenfield. And back then he was coming from a background of sports science. He was a personal trainer, but a very advanced one, like a PhD personal trainer, at an elite level, running, doing personal training for professional athletes out of a gym that partnered up with a doctor, and they were offering like crazy level personal training for these athletes and body assessments. And then he started to go down the track of quote unquote biohacking. in the sense of just utilizing fringe methods to level up all those 1%ers that add together to just supercharge your health, right?
Yeah.
So I really got into that. These days, though, I don't recommend necessarily listening to Ben Greenfield or watching his content because he's gotten
whack.
He's gotten so whack. Like, man, and even my girlfriend will test this because I was obsessed. I went through a period where I was obsessed with this guy, what he was saying. But even now, I'm just so off him because he's plugging all this crystal bullshit and
want to clear up your acne. Welcome to the power of banana peels.
Yeah, exactly. Shit like that, 100%. Like it's just like random woo stuff, and he gets people on that talk about just super fringe stuff. And he is a religious dude, but he's like in his later years, as he's gotten older, he's really like tapped into that and is preaching that to his audience a bit too much. So it's a way too spiritual woo and religious for my liking.
So moving on from that bullshit.
Yeah.
So
back to the point, right?
So he, I guess you could put cold showers, I guess, into biohacking. I guess maybe
it's part of the world, right? It's part of that.
So was he
that world?
Is it from him that initially you specifically started trying experimenting with cold showers?
Yes. Or 100%. So he's interviewed Wim Hof a whole bunch of times. So he has connections with Wim Hof. He does a lot of Wim Hof esque things that are influenced by him. But I mean, Wim has popularized the whole like breathing, breath work. He's well known for his cold immersion, but if you have a look at his works, it's more about his breath work techniques more than anything.
Yeah, anyone that I spoke to, like during the sort of the 1 month period, I often would say like, oh, you know how Wim Hof is like the cold guy, blah, blah, blah. And anyone who knew anything about Wim Hof,
breath work, yeah.
Yeah, and I told them I was experimenting with cold showers. The very first thing they would all say is, "Oh, but are you doing the breathing?"
That's the first thing I asked you.
And then I would say, "No, I'm not into that bullshit." I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I mean, it's just not what I was in it for.
And I want to get into that, and when we talk about both of our experiences, but just to come full circle, I got into this biohacking scene, and it's one of the easiest things to do to improve your recovery. It improves your CNS function, your central nervous system function. As you mentioned, it's like a workout for your blood flow, which is fantastic. I want to talk the audience through a specific recovery modality that you can utilize cold showers for, particularly for recovering from Jiu Jitsu, because this works wonders. So I started taking cold showers, and I went through a period. I think the longest I ever went in a stretch with more or less not missing a day in between, maybe one or two throughout the whole period, was 12 months. Yeah. And that culminated with me being in Sweden and doing it in Sweden. And for some of our international listeners, particularly in the States, they can probably attest to this. But there's differences in cold water, right? What we think is cold water, us having cold showers, it's not fucking cold, right? Man. It is hot. Yeah.
Like,
it's lukewarm.
I lived in Canada for a while, and I never took cold showers there. But the same as in Sweden, right?
Yep.
The water is either heated just above freezing, because otherwise it just freezes in the pipes.
Yes.
Or, well, in Canada, I lived in Vancouver, which is one of the warmer parts of Canada. Yeah. So when there was a cold snap, you would be advised to like, not obviously leave your taps on, but you would leave them on enough so like the water would just be dripping, and that would be enough to stop them from freezing. Right. So, I mean, anyone listening being like, where you had cold showers in Sydney. I mean, well, what do you want us to do about it?
Yeah,
like, it's not like we can change it. It's as cold as it gets. It comes out of the tap.
Yeah.
I mean, I was also doing cold showers because just logistically it was the easiest. I don't have, I have a bath in my apartment, but I logistically didn't have the time to run an ice bath every day.
Yes. That would be ideal.
That would be ideal. But I mean, I tried to put my 2-year-old in the ice bath
and held him down, and he just kept swimming.
Spoken to me since. So let's, before we just talk about, like you said, post-training, cold immersion, shower, things you can do. Let's just go back to this initial month that's just finished of having the cold showers. How was it for you? Are they good? Fine. They bad? What do you reckon? Cold showers in general. What do you got to say about them?
So in general, I highly recommend them, but you have to, in my opinion, there's right and wrong ways to approach it. I think if, I don't know, I kind of already know a little bit of your experience, so I don't want to steal the thunder, but I think if you go into it with, oh, okay, I'm just going to do 30 seconds. I'm just going to suffer through it and get out. You're not going to get all the benefits. If you try and go into it with a little bit of breath work, as in, I'll talk you guys through it, but even just a little bit of breath work in preparation, box breathing whilst you're in the shower, work your way up to at least 2 minutes under the water. You need to immerse your face under and just get comfortable in that in the shower. It can definitely be something like a catalyst that improves your recovery and improves your life, really, particularly if you take morning cold showers, because they really wake you the fuck up. They wake you up.
Yeah, because there's definitely different ways to do it, right? I mean, in terms of how long does the cold shower have to be? Even in an interview, Wim Hof was asked how long does he have? And he was just like, oh man, like once I'm comfortable, it's like I just finish my shower and get out. He's like, I don't sit in there for 10 minutes, you know? If you're having a 30-second cold shower, are you not, you're not going to get all the benefits, but there's still benefits to be had. And one of the things that I found, and well, first of all, let me say they fucking suck. Like cold showers suck balls, man. You know, they're not a lot of fun. Hey, and I mean, they're fun after the fact, not fun, but like they feel great after the fact.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard.
But like, and you don't get used to it. No, you don't.
Yeah, you
no,
do.
You're so lying.
No, you straight up do.
No, you don't.
You 100% do.
After
30 days, 30 days is not long enough. But I will say I did this for a year, and I think after about
you got a year.
After about 2 months of doing it, and even when I was in Sweden, when I first got to Sweden, I was doing cold showers every day for like, fuck man.
Well, if you did it
10,
for
11
a year,
months.
then why did you ever stop?
That's a good point.
If you're saying after 2 months you get used to it and you did it for a year,
why did I stop?
There's all these benefits, why would you ever stop then?
I think I broke the habit chain, and once I broke the habit for a certain amount of time, restarting the habit's hard. So doing it initially is hard, but to say you don't get used to it, I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because even when I went to Sweden and started experiencing that level of cold, man, it was like starting again. It was a whole fucking other level. And like, oh my God, my showers back at home in Australia have been hot. Like the cold showers have been boiling. This is freezing, man.
Like, but then I'll just explain what I mean about not getting used to it. Like, okay, I only did it for a month, which compared to people who have never done them is a decent amount of time to have an 100%. Opinion on it. But yeah, compared to someone who's done it for a year or even someone who's done it for 6 months, okay, my knowledge, but I can only speak from my point of view, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I got used to how much it sucked. And I think the perfect analogy, right, is for anyone who drinks alcohol semi-regularly, right? You get used to hangovers, but they always suck. It's not like you ever get to a point where you can be hungover and you're like, this doesn't suck. I'm used to it. You're just used to that level of suck, right? Like hangovers are always dog shit.
Yeah.
But whereas if you're someone who drinks once a year, for example, and you get hungover, like that's a hangover from hell. But if you drink semi-regularly, if you're someone who socially drinks kind of like every weekend or whatever, which a lot of people do, you're just used to being hungover, but it's still shit when it happens. And so I got to that level of used to it. Like I was, those first 1 or 2 days, it's like a shock to the system.
Oh yeah.
But then I never got used to it as in it never didn't suck.
Yeah.
Like every shower was like, look, some shower, maybe in the month, I maybe had 1 or 2 that like, as soon as the water hit me was like this beautiful, refreshing shower. Again, we're in Sydney, so maybe it was a hot day or whatever. The water was a bit warmer coming out at that time. I don't know. But yeah, they for sure suck. And I didn't take the approach of necessarily staying in for a long time. And we had a brief discussion about this actually when I said, oh, for me, I get in because you took a different approach. You would start with hot and then turn it to cold. Whereas I didn't even mess with the hot, right? I just was straight cold and I would just instantly get in and I would get fully wet, face, everything fully wet, like rather quickly. And then I would do the rest of the shower business. I would wash myself. And I said to you, I was like, oh, so I would get fully wet and then I'd like, turn the water away to wash myself. And you were like, what do you mean turn the water away? And I was like, oh, well, I move the shower head so I can wash myself. Because otherwise like the soap gets washed off before before I can use it because the water's hitting me. And you were like, what do you mean? I just like stick one, arm out or whatever. And I was like, dude, look at the size of me. Like, I mean, I have to move the shower head for me to be able to shower. Right. But
I still don't really get it.
look, after this episode, we'll go have a shower together. Yeah. I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, please.
Right? But, and there were times where I just had super quick showers, and there were times where I did kind of like chill in there for longer. But one of the things, going back to what you said where, if you're just having a 30-second shower, you don't get all the benefits. Yeah, maybe not all the benefits, but the benefit that I probably noticed the most, and again, Wim Hof mentions this, was the mental benefits or the psychological benefits. Because I found even if I just had a super quick cold shower, it wasn't so much like that feeling of being woken up or whatever, which for sure you get, but it's something as trivial as just a cold shower. You could kind of go, yeah, big deal, bro. Anyone can do that. But it was like that sort of sense of accomplishment,
100%.
Which does a lot for mental health. And,
not agree more.
And I think it goes, man, I can't remember this. I think I've mentioned this before, but it's like the whole, they talk about the importance of making your bed. Right. And people go like, why make your bed? It's just going to get messy again, or it's that argument of, or even if you're working from home, get dressed in what, in your work clothes and whatever. So it was that feeling of, and actually there's a lot of mental health and depression techniques. That's not the right word because I'm not a doctor or psychologist or whatever, but they talk about like, small steps, like, just make sure you, wash your, even if it's one dirty dish, like just wash that one plate or whatever for people who are severely depressed or whatever. And just these little incremental steps. So it's just a cold shower, but I did find like every time afterwards, I had like a sense of accomplishment
100%
and instantly improve my mood.
Yeah.
There were a couple of times though, where I did get out of the shower and I was just so pissed off. I was like, fuck that shit. That sucked. Yep. Why, but if, out of 100 times, like 98, 99 of the times, like I felt good afterwards. Just sucks at the time.
Yeah. And that's why I think I really like the cold showers in the mornings because it is.
Which I didn't do either.
Yeah. That's another thing. The cold showers in the mornings, you're 100% right. There's such a sense of accomplishment, right? You've done something that's pretty hard. Like, I have to agree with you that even in my 12 months of doing it, there was probably, a handful of times where it didn't suck, at least for the first 10 seconds, right? It was always a bit of a challenge to force yourself to do something that you don't want to do. But then if you, like, without getting too fucking woo, but this is legitimately a thing. For those that haven't done it, even trying it for this benefit is worth it, in my opinion, is then everything else in your life that is something difficult to do, it's going to be a little bit easier because you've proven to yourself that you can do difficult things. You can force yourself to do something that you don't want to do. And it's the same in like jiu-jitsu, right? And I know that Andreas, he talks about this a lot. He was he's a brown belt that trained at our gym. He's
still does train at our gym. He's just had to take a trip overseas
for 12 months.
Because he's got to visit his family and stuff.
Yeah. So he'll be back. But one thing that
I don't know. What do you know? Is he? you're like, oh, he will be back. But you're making it sound like he's not. And I'm like, what do you know? Has he told you? He's like, nah, bro, I've left.
He's like,
I'm gone.
This was his grand scheme to escape you. But one thing he talks about a lot, like, because we've done a couple of interviews with him for other things, and when he talks about the benefits of jiu-jitsu, he talks about it in terms of problem solving, right? So the problems that he solves on the mats, he can then extrapolate and apply to his problems in life, in his personal life, in business, and things like that. Now, I want to draw an analogy between that and the cold showers.
I will let you make an analogy.
Thank you, analogy, Adam. And draw an analogy between that and cold showers, right? So if you, every morning, not just for the recovery and all those other benefits that you get, but just to do something that you fucking don't want to do, if you can make yourself do that every single morning without missing a day for 30 days straight, then that will enable you to do other things in your life that you don't necessarily want to do, and make everything else easier, right?
Yeah.
And you'll get a sense of accomplishment. And now that is not woo, that's straight up facts, bro.
Yeah, and it does. Like I know some people might be listening thinking, man, it's just a cold shower, but
Give it a go.
it does make a difference, man, doing
Yeah.
something you don't want to do,
100%.
And for me, I did the month, like I embraced the suck. I was like, this
Ooh,
sucks.
Embrace the suck. You've been listening to Jocko Willink a bit.
Oh, is
then.
that what he
Oh, no,
says?
sorry. That's Dave Goggins. Embrace the suck.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, that's a Dave. You remember David Goggins? We mentioned him.
That guy.
That guy,
he's
the marathon guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like tagline is embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck. I mean, I got that from Dan and Jake. Embrace the suck.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, come on.
Yeah.
That's too easy. But anyway, there's some people for sure. Anyone listening who's not from our gym are like, they keep talking about this Dan and Jake. Who are these?
We're not
guys?
getting them on. They're not worth it.
They're never coming on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just kind of like, yeah, it's just like embracing it not being fun and just do it. Like it's not like I had to like psych myself up, but I kind of for me, when I was younger, I it's not like I spent a lot of time like cliff jumping, but me and my friends would enjoy like going to swimming holes and finding like cliffs is the wrong word, but just like rocks and stuff to jump off into the water, doing flips into the water and stuff. Nothing,
just lad stuff.
Just lad
shit.
stuff. Yeah. Like nothing too extreme. I wasn't one of those guys nowadays you see on YouTube, just like
Yeeting
jumping off like a 40-meter cliff and doing like quadruple backflips. No, like we just jump off stuff. It's kind of like, I treated it similar to that, it's like the more you think about it, the worse it is. You just do it, bro. Just don't think about it and do it. Just jump. And so I kind of did that. Like I didn't even let the thought of it enter my mind. Like it's kind of like I just would completely switch off and I would just get in the shower, turn it. Like I wouldn't even let myself start down that almost negative.
Talk yourself out of it. Yeah. You can talk yourself into and out of fucking anything.
Yeah.
Anything, man.
But I definitely did. They also had some other weird not side effects, but things that I found weird. Like one thing I found weird about it is after a cold shower, even though in terms of hygiene wise, like not doing anything different to a regular shower, still using the same soap, whatever, like it's still having a shower to wash yourself. It's like, after a cold shower, for some reason, like I would feel cleaner. I don't know if it's because like your skin contracts a little bit because it's cold, but it's weird because when the water's cold, it's like imagine if you were washing your dishes, you wouldn't think they're cleaner if you wash them in cold water opposed to hot water, right? Yeah. But for some reason after a cold shower, like I felt cleaner.
How'd you find your sleep? Because you were doing it of the evenings.
So I did it in the evenings, yeah. So I just shower unless I'm doing multiple training sessions a day where I'm showering post-workout. Yeah. Just in general, I only shower once a day, right? Which is before bed. I'm not a morning showerer. So I was doing it before bed. But it's also worth noting that the month of doing this was during our lockdown. So it wasn't like I was having a cold shower post-workout or anything, which I guess would be a little different because usually I train in the evenings and then I would have been showering post-training. Yeah. So, but yeah, what did it do for my sleep? I don't know. I don't know if it was really noteworthy at changing my sleep at all.
Definitely. I noticed that it definitely improves my sleep. So I track my sleep with, and this is back to the biohacking thing. The ring that I wear is an Aura ring. So it actually tracks my heart rate.
A mood ring changes colors.
Yeah. When I'm feeling a bit sad, it goes blue. When I'm feeling happy, it goes yellow. So it's called an Aura ring, and it's spelled OURA. And it tracks my heart rate variability, my body temperature, and my sleep. It's basically designed to track sleep. Right. For recovery. And then you can use
synced with an app.
Yes, it's synced with an app. You can turn it on airplane mode, so it's not like, zapping you all night. But yeah, and we can talk a little bit about maybe in another episode about different metrics you can measure for your sleep to measure recovery. And one of them, the big one being your heart rate variability, which is HRV. So one thing that I find when I have a cold shower of an evening, it definitely improves my sleep a lot, and specifically my deep sleep. And the reason for that is when you go to sleep, your body is cooling you down. It's
Yeah,
trying
which
to,
is why you often wake up in the middle of, like, you go to bed with what you think is the adequate amount of blankets or whatever.
Yeah.
And you wake up at 2 a.m. going like, oh, I'm cold.
yeah, because your body has and even when you find like you wake up and you've actually kicked off your blankets or whatever, or your foot's hanging out because your body is trying to regulate, because your body needs to reduce by about 1 to 2 degrees to be the optimal sleeping state, right? And that's when you can enter into deep sleep. So, and we can do another episode on sleep later, because I nerd out. I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but I nerd out on sleep quite a lot. So when you have a cold shower of an evening, it improves your sleep.
You could just like take a nap and your girlfriend be like, what are you doing? And you're like, working.
Yeah. Studying. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. She thinks I sleep all day anyway. But yeah, when you have a cold shower, it cools your body down. It regulates your temperature. It assists you a bit into getting to that cooler state a bit faster. Another hack for that is if you go to bed with woolen socks on, that helps as well. Because as you mentioned in the beginning, one of your body's techniques to cool down or to heat up your body core temperature is to either push blood away or draw blood in. So if you are trying to, if your body is constantly putting the blood to your extremities, it just makes it a little bit more difficult for your body to regulate its temperature. So if you wear woolen socks, it warms your feet and it allows you to cool down. So it's quite interesting, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
yeah, it actually improves your sleep by putting woolen socks under bed. I don't recommend that, but if you want to. But another technique that I have used, particularly when I was, again, fully into biohacking and really nerding out, is you can actually buy what's known as a chili pad. It's the company Chili Pad, and it is, think of it like, an electric blanket. Have you ever
Like
had
the
an electric?
opposite of that.
It's the opposite of an electric blanket.
It sounds
but
like
it
one of
uses
those
water instead of electricity. And so for whatever reason that doesn't know what a fucking electric blanket is, it's like a blanket that goes under your sheet. It's not on top of you.
Who
It's
would
below
not
you.
know what an
I don't know, man.
I feel like that's pretty common knowledge.
Yeah,
I feel like
we have some listeners in Germany. They might not know.
For those who don't know what a pineapple is,
it's a spiky fruit. No, but okay. So let me describe the chili pad. It looks like an electric blanket, but it goes under your what's known as your top sheet. So it goes under your fitted sheet, and it has
like little veins that would like pump
veins
water
of water. Exactly.
Like those, like you can even get them as cooling vests nowadays.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the cheapest things, but
no.
they go. I'm not sure if any sports use them, but I mean, I know that
you can get them for all sorts.
You can get them. I know that they go like, in bloody, in like the suit that astronauts wear and everything. Like, and it's
to regulate the temperature
across their whole body. Right?
Yeah. So it's like that. You sleep on it. It's got like you
can get them for dogs.
Really?
I'm not even joking. Yeah, you can get like
you can get air conditioned kennels.
Yeah, I could see myself sleeping in one of those. Take a whole new level to being in the doghouse. Like you're in the doghouse and you're like, yeah, sweet.
It's done.
I got my fucking Xbox in there. You can get them for like dogs and stuff. They're like a cooling pad thing for them to sleep on.
Highly recommend. They're absolutely brilliant. And that reduces your body core temperature, improves your sleep as well. So definitely improves for recovery. But I just quickly, I wanted to talk everyone through my recommended procedure if you wanted to use cold water showers, not necessarily for some of the psychological benefits or the CNS or other type of benefits that you get. And if you're interested in those, like just do a quick Google of Wim Hof and man, you'll find so many benefits.
There's a lot of information out there about it. Like when I said at the start that, there's not that much, I didn't mean there's not a lot of information. It's just, if you're looking at it from, a scientific point of view, there's not a lot of information to draw a scientific conclusion, but there is a lot of information about cold showers and, cold therapy and ice
cryotherapy,
baths and all
sorts,
these things. But yeah, Wim Hof would be, man, type him into
Yeah.
to Google and you'll get a whole stack of information.
So my recommended procedure or like technique, if you will, I would say procedure for utilizing cold showers for recovery from jiu-jitsu is using a 5-minute technique. So you can do it one of two ways. I'll describe the best way, if you will, and then an alternative if you need to start with that. So the best way to do it is to do 10 rounds of 20 seconds of cold and then followed by 10 seconds of hot. And this is called a contrast shower. So say, for example, you train up in evenings, right? So you've just done 3 hours of hard training and you feel a bit wrecked and you need to like calm down your central nervous system. You're trying to unwind to digest your dinner, or maybe you're about to go to sleep in the next 30 minutes or what have you. So you come home and when you have the shower, you start with cold, run 20 seconds. Go to hot, 10 seconds. Do that 10 rounds through, and that will equal 5 minutes. And that is a cold, hot contrast shower. With the cold, obviously, it's however cold your shower is. If you're somewhere in winter in Europe or where have you, it's going to be a lot fucking colder than Sydney, but sucked in. But go for it anyway.
So I was actually doing those not intentionally while I lived in Brazil because I had a shitty electric shower. The showers in Brazil, man, like they're just these wires coming out of the wall and they've got a little switch and you've either got hot, cold or warm. And my warm function was broken. So I'd have a shower and you'd have to constantly flick it back between this crazy electric switch with wires coming out of it.
Water.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who's lived in Brazil or I think in they're quite common in South America, they would know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'd be flicking this little switch and it's on the shower head, right?
No way.
That is electric.
That's
it's
crazy.
very weird.
That's so crazy.
Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold sucked. And it would spark as well. It was very dangerous.
Yep. Wow.
But here I
am. So this is a really, really cool technique. Now, the inverse of it, or the easier version, is you just flip the times, right? You go 20 seconds hot, 10 seconds cold. And when I'm talking hot as you can stand. So don't burn yourself, obviously. Be careful. I mean, whatever. I'm not responsible.
Kieren doesn't want to get sued.
I don't give a shit. I'm not responsible for your idiocy, but as hot as you can stand. So it should at the end of the 10 seconds, you should be like, come on, cold. Like, I'm waiting for you. This is uncomfortable. And the cold, obviously, like I said, just fucking crank the cold, turn the hot off and go for gold. And, count in your head. It's better to use a timer. Obviously, if your watch has a function, like a stopwatch, just go through it. But, worst case scenario, count in your head. And that is an awesome recovery modality for utilizing cold and hot water immersion.
Did you miss any days in your month?
I did. I missed 2.
Why?
Don't know. I forgot. I think one of them. So because I had 2 showers a day, and when we started doing it for the first week, I was doing cold showers both days, and most days I did do that.
Both showers.
Yeah, sorry, both showers. So the morning shower and the evening shower, right? Now, once I found out that you were showering once per day and it was in the evenings, I was like, no, fuck that. I'm only doing, if this motherfucker's doing 1 cold shower day, I'm going to do 1. And then some days what I would do is I would, wake up and bitch basically talk myself out of it and bitch out of the cold shower in the morning because I'm a little.
And then think you're having it in the evening.
Yeah,
and
forget and then have a hot shower because I'm like, I'll probably, not even cross my mind and then think, fuck. And, I don't want to have another shower. Like, come on. But
yeah, I mean, save some water, bro.
Well, fuck, we're in, water restrictions.
Yeah.
we're not. But yeah. So yeah, that was why. But my recommendation, if someone is in that position, just either pick one and stick with it or just do both. Don't let yourself any wiggle room.
Just fucking go cold, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess that doesn't have the effect of what I was saying where the Johnny Harris YouTube video talks about going in the hot springs and then the glacial water.
That's what this contrast shower is simulating.
Does, right?
Yeah. So it's obvious, and any research you do, you'll find this same answer, that cold water immersion where you are in like an ice bath or, if you are in Europe, you're doing jump in a frozen lake or something like that, or a cold lake, that is way better than a shower. It just is. But this is what we have access to.
Yeah. And I mean, you could argue as well, it's a little bit easier because it's kind of like when it's a shower, you're not all wet at this. I mean, yes, you are. I mean, obviously, but you're not in the water. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Whereas if so it's kind of like when you get caught out in the rain. It's like it's not enough water. Like if you get caught out in the rain without a t-shirt on, it's like
what
I don't know, man.
are you
Maybe
running around without a shirt on?
you wear shirts. Like what is? No, I don't know. Maybe you went for a jog
Yeah,
or something.
okay.
And it's summer or whatever, and you don't have a shirt on or whatever it is, right? And it's like it's not enough water hitting your skin. Like it's like such a small amount of water that it's like
Annoying.
super
Yeah.
annoying and
Yeah.
irritating. Whereas if you're just in the water,
Yeah.
it's easier.
I don't know.
Like I don't know. Like I would if my options were, let's say, you're I don't know, you're at in someone's backyard and they're having a pool party or whatever, and my choice is like jump in the pool
Yeah.
or have someone spray me with a hose. Like I'll just it's way more uncomfortable to be sprayed with the hose because then you're like,
That's a terrible analogy.
No, it's a perfect analogy.
No, it's terrible.
Shut up.
I would
It's
say
a perfect analogy.
in my
Jump in the pool.
experience / opinion, I think that the ice baths are a lot more challenging. They're a lot harder.
Well, they're also like
a lot colder. Yeah.
colder, like
Yeah.
especially for here in Sydney,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yeah, maybe some people in Sweden or whatever are like,
Oh,
I don't know,
man,
bro, that well
yeah.
water's pretty cold.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I can't stress enough that there is a huge difference between our cold showers and the just above freezing cold showers in like Europe in the middle of winter. So when I was in Sweden, I was doing basically this whole 5-minute therapy, but with a lot longer with the sauna and the shower and going back and forth in between the two. So like 10, 15 minutes in the sauna and like less than 5 minutes in the cold shower. And my God, you feel excellent. You feel like $1,000,000. It improves your mood.
Absolutely hate saunas.
Oh, really? I
yeah,
love saunas.
not into them, eh?
I love saunas and steam rooms. They're my jam.
Yeah, not
They
into
are
them, eh?
definitely my jam. I
It's
love it.
like it's not. Yeah, I don't like the hot air. breathing
Oh,
the hot
really?
air. Not
I
into
love it. I'm a massive fan. I reckon the hotter the better. Like I want to be fucking drenched in sweat. I want it to be so uncomfortable. I like it when I don't know why I like this, and Freud would probably have something to say about it. But I like being in the sauna where it's so fucking hot that you're like mentally having that argument with yourself, like begging yourself to get out and like trying to rationalize getting out. Obviously, not enough to put your life in danger. Nothing ridiculous like sadistic like that. But like where it's so uncomfortable that every minute that you like spend in the sauna is like conquering your inner bitch.
That leads me to my next point. You're opening a gym. You're Kieren's Bikram Jiu Jitsu, right?
Have you done Bikram yoga before?
No, never.
No, I've never tried it.
No.
Hey,
Yeah.
never done it.
I mean, I think I've only ever done one yoga class. So to think
Yeah.
I'm then going to go do Bikram yoga when it's
I've
not
done a
even
few.
a
Yoga's
activity
tough,
that
man.
I do. Oh, it's super tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, my conclusion for the cold showers, like, I mean, man, I think it's hard to argue that they don't feel great after the fact, but it's just a challenge to do because the negative comes first. If we go back to my analogy
Yeah.
about it being like a hangover, I think a lot less people would drink if it
Was flipped.
If you had to be hungover before the good part of alcohol,
Yeah.
way less people would drink, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like if you had to pay the price of that savage hangover to have that bender of a night, like way less people would get drunk, don't you reckon?
Oh, 100%. You're right.
And so it's just the fact that the negative comes first makes it harder.
Yeah, it's like
right?
painful delayed gratification.
But man, for me, I haven't continued them after the month. Actually, I did have one cold shower like that wasn't just, it's not like, I did a month in one day. Like I did the month, I actually did a few more days than a month, like just for whatever reason. But then a few days after having regular warm or hot showers again, there was one particular day that I actually was like, I want a cold shower. And I had one, and it was great. But, I guess I kind of in a whole enjoyed the month, but then I guess you could say, well, why haven't you continued doing it? Yeah, because they fucking suck, bro. But I did like the like I said, that feeling of accomplishment for me, the benefit that it made on me psychologically was what I found the most powerful, because it was like instantly tangible is not the right word because it's not tangible. But if I can bend the definition of that word for a sec, like it was like I could really feel that benefit instantly. Whereas some of the other benefits, like, some people being like, oh, I've had cold showers every day for 5 years and I haven't been sick
Like
in
your
5
immune
years.
system benefits,
Things like that. It's like, okay, well, I wasn't sick in the month that I took them, but it's like, I mean,
I was sick of doing them.
Also we were in lockdown. I wasn't training, so I can't really talk about it as a recovery method. But I would like to, the next thing I would like to do would be, I would like to get some sort of facility at our gym for ice baths. Our
100%.
gym doesn't necessarily have the space for it, but it's something that it's in my,
another gym.
Maybe another gym could have an ice bath. Yeah. But it's something in my mind that I thought, our good friends at Jungle Brothers have recently done.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've actually taken I think a really cool way to do it, because it's a bit financially more viable as well, which is instead of having to constantly every time go buy bags of ice, which is really expensive, they actually have one of those, it's just like a freezer like you would get from a convenience store that's got ice creams in it, like a tub freezer or whatever they're called.
Yeah, like a chest freezer.
Yeah. And so obviously you can't permanently leave water in it because it would freeze, but like they fill that up with water, and I think then they need less ice, like maybe only 1 or 2 bags or something.
Yep.
And, and they change the water every couple of days.
Yeah.
And
so there's heaps of like tutorials on the internet on how to repurpose chest freezers for
an
ice
really?
bath. Yeah, it's a legitimate tactic. And then nowadays there's companies that produce like professionally done ice baths. I think the most famous one is called Morocco Forge. And that's like all the big influencers, like Joe Rogan has one, like Ben Greenfield uses that brand, I believe, and a few other people.
All the millionaires.
Effectively all the millionaires that have like, a spare $10,000 to drop on a fucking ice bath.
Whereas I'm sitting here thinking like maybe I can steal a wheelie bin.
Yeah, that's also valid. Yeah, you can 100% do the wheelie bin. Yeah.
I don't know. I will say as well though, like when I initially then stopped the cold showers, because I didn't like I supplemented 1 day out of the whole month. So the 1 day I didn't have a cold shower was because I had like, I was at the beach with Atlas, my son, and the water was super cold and I had to swim at the beach, which I know sounds like, I know it's not a cold shower, but for me, I was like, this water's colder than my shower. And that swim was my cold shower for that day.
Sure.
Right. But anyway, so I hadn't had a warm shower, right. In the time, actually, no, wait. Yes, I did. Because I had a shower with Atlas. And like I said, the 2-year-old did not like the cold water. Anyway, when I went from the cold showers back to warm, hot showers, it did feel weird. Like, it kind of felt like, like if you think your coffee's hot and you go to take a sip and it's cold and you're like, ugh, like, like you're not prepared for it. It was kind of like that, after so long of cold showers, I was like, I don't know about this. Like the warmness of the water this doesn't feel right. Obviously now I'm like, hot shower.
So the $1 million question, man. $1 million question. Will you do it again?
I think I don't know if I'd go back to like doing them I don't know, man. Like I did really enjoy them. Like when I reflect back on it. But I don't know if they suck, man, but they're good. It's very hard. I don't know. Well, it's funny because you said you get used to it after months, but you did it for a year and still stopped. I like the idea of getting to a place where maybe I just, like I said, like last week, I actually felt like a cold shower and I had one by choice. I wasn't doing a challenge or anything. I just felt like, I don't want the water to be warm. I'd like if I could permanently sit in that sort of space where I kind of have it, like I kind of urge to have it every now and again. I don't know. I would love to sit here and say, yeah, man, I'm only having cold showers because I don't see a negative to it. Like,
apart from like getting over that, it's just fucking hard to do, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest
Like, it's not like
hurdle
you're going to
is
be
difficult.
hypothermic.
No,
So
yeah,
like,
it's not dangerous for you unless you do something stupid and sit in like a ice bath for 20 minutes. That's dangerous. But
Yeah.
I mean, having a cold shower for under 5 minutes, it's regardless of where you are in the world, it's not dangerous for you.
yeah.
It's not bad for your health. If anything, it's nothing but benefits. Now, from my perspective, it's something that it's a habit that I'm definitely working toward reestablishing for me. So, I mean, am I doing cold showers at the moment? No. I did after we did our 30 days or our month. I stopped again, but reflecting like yourself, looking back on it and thinking back to when I was doing it for 12 months and just comparing contrast between how it felt doing it then compared to how I feel now. It's something I definitely am going to be doing.
I think, again, I wasn't training at the time because of lockdown, but I think I felt better.
Yeah.
having
I
cold
recommend,
showers.
dude,
Look,
honestly, I want you to try this 5-minute
I don't
contrast.
want to.
I know you don't want to, but I really want you to try it.
Maybe I'll see how I feel when I get home from training tonight.
Yeah, I reckon you should try it.
If I was to be more realistic about a place that I could see myself getting to, would be having access to like an ice bath.
That's something I'm definitely getting
and
to.
having an ice bath once a week, maybe that last training session of the week, which for me is typically Saturday, having an ice bath once a week. And I feel for me that I would feel like, not like that's enough as in I only want to do the bare minimum, but I would feel like that's good for me.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't need to have cold showers. I do my ice bath once a week, which feels great. And I would like to get to that sort of space.
Do you think we could buy a chest freezer like maybe not set it up because they've, Jungle Brothers set it
They
up
have
like
more space.
Yeah, they have more space. They had some decking around it. But if we get like a semi-portable converted chest freezer and put it maybe in the bathroom,
it wouldn't fit in the bathroom, bro.
Yeah, good point.
This is people who don't train in our gym. There's like,
or maybe out in that courtyard. I reckon it would fit there.
Maybe
it would have to be
I'd have
portable
to get rid of that pull-up rack.
Yeah, you don't use that.
No, well, I've got this like pull-up rack thing. One of those things that you can do pull-ups and dips on. It can't even hold my weight for. Like I'm so big that if I'm doing pull-ups at full extension. My knees are on the ground, and then the dips, I need someone to stand on the other side. Otherwise the thing flips.
So I reckon we move that and put in a chest freezer, and whenever we're not using it, we could like store it somewhere.
I thought you were going to say whenever we're not using it, we put ice creams in it. I was on board with that. Store it somewhere. What do you mean, bro? The fucking ice cream's in it. It's a freezer. On that note, guys, thank you for listening. There's no harm in trying, right? I actually did feel real good. So if it's something you have kind of been on the fence about, man, just do it. Especially if you're in Sydney, we're coming into summer. It's about to be the easiest time possible to do cold showers.
They're lukewarm showers, man.
If you've never heard of cold showers, man, give them a go. They feel great.
Yeah, it's good for recovery for jiu-jitsu, definitely.
Yeah, but otherwise, until next time.
See ya.